Hey, Benjies. It's Wednesday night, so you already know it's the BingeWorthy Podcast. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I am a speaker, trainer, a podcaster. And I've got three just dope ass co hosts. My first co host, she is a director, a writer, an actress extraordinaire. We call her the dynamic diva. Say what's up to the people, Cortney.
Hello, hello.
And my next co-host, he is a game designer. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's part owner of the Geekish Network. Say what's going on to the people, Chuck.
What's up, everyone? I'm here.
And my last co-host, I call him the Game Spitter. Because every day on Geek Beast and right here on the BingeWorthy Podcast, you can catch him spitting that fire. Say what's up to the people, Syntell.
Hit hard with this geek shit, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Let's go, baby.
Let's go, y'all. And we are the BingeWorthy Podcast. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
Good.
How are you?
Doing good, man. I'm ready to get into this. And tonight we're going to be talking what if. Now, for the new bingies out there, if you've never had the good privilege to turn into one of our shows, what we do here is we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here to our podcast, the BingeWorthy Podcast, to rate that series based on our unique binge-worthy scale. Now, at the beginning of this show, we rate the scale, then we engage in a intellectual, in-depth conversation about that property, and at the end of the show, we rate it again. And maybe some of the discussion points talked about during the episode can influence one of the co-hosts to change their opinions. It's happened a couple times. Now, our binge-worthy scale is at a number 5. That's what we call a full binge out. That's one of those shows where you watch on 1 or 2 sittings because you just can't get enough. It is outstanding. At a number 4, we call it a full meal. Not quite a binge out, but it is definitely worth the time that you invest into watching it. At number 3, we call it a mini meal. Now, a mini meal isn't bad. It's just not good, right? There's no seasoning salt on it, no Lowry's on there, you know? It's just kind of bland. I mean, Courtney, she called it, it's a TV dinner, right? You're never looking forward to a TV dinner, but it's edible. At a number 2, we call a snack. A snack is, I'm watching, but I'm not buying into none of this. The only reason I'm probably watching is because there's nothing else on, man. The game's not on. Nothing's been released new. I'm bored. Don't want to talk to nobody. There ain't nobody home. So I'm just at home, channel surfing or tuned into a streaming service. So I'm just going to finish it on out.
It's watching you.
It's pretty much watching you. You phone checking more than you're watching it. Yes. And then our last one, it is a 1 and is a cringe worthy. That means why the hell did I invest time out of my precious life to watch this old bullshit? And that is our rating scale. So tonight we're going to be evaluating what if. The premise of what if is following the creation of the multiverse in the season 1 finale of Loki. What If explores the various alternate timelines of the multiverse in which major moments from the Marvel Cinematic Universe occurred differently. So we're going to start with you, Syntell, man. Oh. How are you going to rate? How are you going to rate What If?
You know what? I think I was a little disappointed, a little bit. I didn't hate it. It did pass the phone test. I wasn't in my phone when I was watching it, but I was really excited because I thought I was going to see, I don't know, just something not this. It's a little spaced out. It's a little disjointed, but yet it's still supposed to have like an overall arch. even though I know that's true, I just wasn't over the moon. I did feel more of an obligation to watch it just because it's just something I need to watch so I can maybe understand other properties in the future, hopefully. So it's gonna get a mini meal from me. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just, I was like, I need some more seasoning on this. Something to make this a little
I
better.
got you, man. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chuck, how are you gonna rate What If?
Can't hear you, fam.
We can't hear
Can't
you.
hear you, bro.
Meal from me.
Yeah,
The
got
reason
What was it again?
a mini meal.
Okay.
It gets a mini meal from me, and the reason is because I expected an anthology series, and I hate the fact that it all wound up in the same place at the very end. The ending's what threw me off. I didn't want it to end together. I wanted in the different parts of the timeline that we could make the jump that they all eventually hit each other. Like I would have loved anything else. Like for example, can I get into my example really quick?
Okay, man.
Like at the end of Loki, when Kang was like, you can kill me now, and we'll never know what happens. It'd been nice to watch her through all of them to the end of the timeline after Kang died and see what happened, versus them coming together and fighting together and dropping off Black Widow in an alternate timeline. I mean, we didn't even get the chance to see the Gamora Tony episode. I wish they would have had that episode.
Yeah, where was that episode?
They could.
They canceled it for unknown reasons for us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're probably
Wait, what?
They changing story.
They canceled?
They trying to change the story.
Yeah, they're bringing it back in season 2.
Yeah, they're changing stories probably.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
But
Where did you read that? That was because that was a huge plot hole for me. Because I was like, I don't have any connection to her.
That's the whole point. You're not supposed the What If series. You're not supposed to have connection to a single story. It's supposed to be just What If stories from different timelines.
That's how the comics were, at least.
Yeah, they're not supposed to connect at all. So them connecting
it
was weird for me.
Sorry, I'm taking your time.
It was weird for me because I was thinking like Animatrix, where not all the stories we knew they played a part in the Matrix, but we didn't see how they cut into the Matrix, and I like those type of anthology series. And I wish they would have done the same thing. I think them trying to dress it up, tie it over the bow at the very end was like that. And the Watcher's one of my favorite characters. I read the Watcher series, and he's one of my favorite characters. And how they made him, I was like, oh, this is kind of whack.
Okay, so you got a mini meal, and Syntell's got a mini meal. Courtney, you anxious to jump in there? Go ahead. How are you gonna rate What If?
Well, I had some more questions because I mean that was I don't know now because that was something that was a just drastic jump. I feel like they just dropped me in when it's interesting. Okay, so let me just start again. I'm gonna rate it as I say it's a full meal for me because number one, I liked maybe like a majority of them. There were like 3 that I was like, I could have done without that. But I really liked Ultron. I really liked what they did with him and how they brought him back and how they kind of used Thanos like he was just kind of like a useless wind-up toy. I mean, I found that entertaining. I did look forward to it, and I watched it early, and like when I watched it the first time, every single week, like I was right there waiting for it. So I wanted to see what was next. So it's definitely a full meal for me, but the ending, I wasn't prepared for the culmination of them all getting together. And what I was going to say before is that, I'm on the Origins Illustrated podcast, and one of my co-hosts, that was her prediction. And I didn't even think that was a possibility. I didn't even see that coming. Because like Chuck, I thought it was an anthology. I thought they were all going to lead somewhere, and then there was going to be a cliffhanger ending. And then they were going to potentially pick up all of the strands and threads that they created in the MCU. So I was slightly disappointed by the nice tied up like a bow ending, though I did enjoy the fact that they brought Black Widow back in. It was problematic for me that they brought in Gamora from a episode that we didn't get to see, and they just threw her in as one of the heroes. I was like, I don't understand. If you're gonna have this connection where you pull certain people from certain episodes of What If, you can't drop her in and not explain to me why she was chosen. So I can't make it a binge worthy for that reason.
Okay, so you gave it a full meal. All right, so I'm going to rate it as a full meal as well. There were several episodes that I really enjoyed because it surprised me. For example, and I don't want to give too much of spoiler alerts because we're going to talk about it, but T'Challa as the Star-Lord, that was an interesting take to me. That was not something that I thought about. The Ultron episode, that was really fun. I thought that was cool. And even our kickoff episode with Peggy Carter is being chosen for Captain America. So I thought all of those things were interesting. There are a few episodes to me that were kind of throwaway. And I know some people liked it, but the zombie stuff, I was just like, no. I mean,
I really like that one.
It's supposed to be fun, but yeah, it's doing nothing for me.
I hated Thor. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And the thing though that I'm kind of in agreement with a lot of you all, I don't think it stuck the landing. The final episode, it seemed a little rushed and random, just like, oh, we just gonna throw all of them together and they're all gonna work together to literally save the multiverse. I was like, huh? Even the Avengers didn't come together that quickly. Like it took a couple movies for them to really develop chemistry and things like that. So they just kind of threw those together. So I didn't really the ending, I didn't think they stuck. And I am in agreement with Cortney. I thought there was going to be some sort of cliffhanger, some sort of thing that led me into the next phase of the MCU. So this was a property that I would have had to watch in order to know what was going on. And it didn't seem that way. It seemed a little rushed to me, but I did enjoy it. It was fun and it was fast paced. So I'm going to give it a full meal. And we got 2 full meals and we got a mini meal that's giving us a score of 3.5. We can go ahead and round that up. And
that
right
sounds
now,
about accurate to me. That sounds pretty accurate.
A full meal. So it's close on the hinges of a full meal. All right, guys, let's get into this. I got a question. So one of the things that I noticed, the voice acting, they brought back a lot of the stars of the original movies. Cortney, you're an actress. How do you think that the actors did for voiceover? Because we know we've talked about this at length before. In animation, being a good actor on film and in television doesn't necessarily translate over to animation. So overall, how do you think the voice acting did for What If?
Overall, I thought they did a really good job. I especially the characters or the actors that took over well-known roles. I thought it was a little frustrating for me at first when they brought back some of the key actors and then they didn't bring back all of them, especially given the fact that Black Widow was such a huge factor in several of the episodes. I really, although Lake Bell did a great job as Black Widow, I don't understand why you just wouldn't get Scarlett Johansson.
We know why, right?
Don't we know? She already filed her grievance. I don't know.
Actually, I don't think that's true because Chadwick Boseman did all of his stuff before he passed away, and she wasn't, as far as we know, she wasn't wilding out with them because there hadn't been a pandemic yet. So why wasn't she brought in? Brie Larson said nobody asked her. And the same with somebody else. Who else? Somebody else said they weren't asked. I can't remember which actor it was, but I find that to be problematic. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, again, Lake Bell did a bang up job, but she just wasn't Scarlett Johansson, you know?
We know if she did it before, maybe it got re-recorded or something, like, because Disney can be kind of petty, right?
I can't speak to that, but that is an excellent possibility that I
could be considered. It could be they've all done voice tests before and their voice tests went up to par. They could all have been Lakeith Stanfield. They all could have been Lakeith, and they're like, we're not going to go with that. We're paying top dollar to do this. Why would we go with them?
And there's a big difference between an animation budget and a live action budget. And SAG, whatever their SAG contracts may be, may not know the difference in between that. And price probably could
Zoe
have been a point.
Saldana. She was the other one who said she wasn't asked.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it has more to do with money than anything else.
Yeah,
Because you can probably bring in a few stars, but you can't bring in
them all. Yeah, like, I mean, and Chris Hemsworth did a couple of episodes. I'm sure
Right.
he was a pretty penny. He actually did a good job. I thought, even though I didn't like his episode, I think it was more the writing, but he was very entertaining. He was very Thor.
I mean,
I thought the voice acting was phenomenal. Actually, I don't really say that a lot about American voice acting when it comes to animation.
They did a great job.
That was a big plus for me.
Could you imagine they brought in like Scarlett Johansson and she's a horrible voice actor?
It may not have hit the they may not have hit the mark. It probably is that, Chuck. I wouldn't that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
She hasn't come out and said anything as
Why
to
would she?
whether or not they no. Because Brie Larson was like, nobody asked me. Zoe Saldana was like, nobody asked me. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if they voluntarily, threw their chips out in the street, like, I would have done it. You know what I mean? She has said nothing. Again, now she is was currently invested in a lawsuit. They're friends now, so I don't know.
The big surprise to me was the voiceover for Peter Parker, because I was like, if you're gonna spend money, you're gonna spend on Spider-Man's voice, and they didn't. They
didn't get him either.
Yeah, it's a totally different voice, and for me, I could tell the spirit of it was good though. I'm not saying he did a bad job, but I could just tell it wasn't. I was like, oh, that's somebody new, but but the spirit was still there. I thought that actor did a very good job.
Okay.
I was glad they got Denai Guerrera to play I almost said Michonne Okoye. I know y'all didn't like the zombie episode, but for me, the writing of that episode was so smart, and Bucky and Okoye stole the friggin' show for me with their one-liners.
That was just me.
I don't mind the zombie episode. I thought it was okay. I didn't mind it at all.
I wasn't feeling. I just didn't like the direction. I wanted them, because in the comic, in the in the zombies comic, there wasn't nothing funny about that. So I was hoping that
it was serious and dark.
Maybe get a little bit closer to that, and then they went a whole other direction. So I'm mad at the choice, not at how it turned out. Like that, I thought the story was decent. It was okay. I just didn't want that choice. I didn't want that. I'm like, don't slapstick this.
They went to camp.
And they
See, I don't have any connection to the comics. When did it come out?
Long time ago. That was like in the early 2000s, maybe early 2000s.
Okay.
So what did you guys think about the overall look, the animation, the art style of this? Because this is this is a big project. This is their first kind of animated feature on Disney Plus within the MCU. How did you all think it looked? Syntell, how'd you think, man?
Listen, it's Disney. I want them to throw loot. And they didn't. It was okay. It wasn't bad. The animation is not bad, but based off of other animation styles that we've seen a whole anthology with the Star Wars visions with different types of animation styles, and some of them were extremely good. So it's not like you don't have access to that type of animation. So for something that I thought was going to be a bit of like a one-off, I thought they would have like really ramped up the animation. Animation was just good. I wanted amazing. You're Disney. You should be blowing me away. And instead, I just got good. It was good animation.
All right. So let's get into these episodes, man. Episode 1 during World War II. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
can I say something? It's a question, I guess. It's a throw-out question to Syntell.
Yeah.
The Disney, like in comparing the two, like animation and like Star Wars Vision, weren't those specific episodes that were tasked by specific studios? So it wasn't necessarily like Disney Animation crafted those.
Yeah.
Right? So it was every single house that was different. So
no, this is one studio.
That I don't know.
It's one studio.
No. It's one studio.
It's one studio.
But it's not under the Disney Animation house that we're so used to.
I'm gonna go look it up now.
Yeah. It was under one house.
Right. Well, and I guess not necessarily the house per se. Maybe I'm confusing it. But like, because I remember when we discussed the Star Wars Visions, there was like Trigger Studios, I think, that did a couple of them.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yes.
multiple studios.
No, it was
But I
one
thought it was
studio. It was only one studio that did all the episodes.
No, it was multiple
And they had-
studios that did Vision.
Vision. But
That's
this
what I'm
one
talking
studio.
about. I'm talking
Hold
about
on,
Vision.
What if?
I'm
Okay.
talking about Vision. I'm
Okay.
talking about Vision because, like, specifically, we compare like the comparison to Star Wars Visions to What If. So if that was multiple in Star Wars Visions, if there are multiple studio houses, they're gonna have different levels and tiers and types of animation, as opposed to What If is if it's one house doing, and because all the looks were basically the same, all the characters were the same throughout. So I guess it would, for me, it kind of had a very comic book style look to it, like they were trying to pull right from the comics and put on the screen. That's what I got from it. So I guess for me it was a little bit different. I understand what you're saying. I think
that's what they were trying to do, and I think they hit the mark. I do think, like I said, I think it's good animation. It's
but it's
good.
not flawless.
But
it's not phenomenal.
But for what I think many viewers thought was going to be kind of like, what if it's just going to be like this throwaway kind of thing? Let's just have a fun kind of romp through what if this happens. My expectations was that they would have been a little bit more aggressive with the animation, like really just show what you can
Really
do.
amped it up and took it to another level, like because they are Disney, and money's never an object. Like money's never an object, so it's like put the best out there that you could.
Right.
Do you think? And I'm so sorry. Do you think that had anything to do with marketing, not wanting to make it too edgy to connect to children?
Yeah, I think that plays a big part in it, because for all intents and purposes, I don't think Visions was a commercial success for Disney. I don't think it was, and I think it may have been because that style of animation and storytelling doesn't hit their core marketing group.
The family.
So I'm sure Disney is smart enough to test. I'm sure they tested different animation styles, and this animation style suited the masses more. So it's probably a money issue, and this is the smarter choice. It's not a bad choice. It's not. Yeah. It's just I just wanted more.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case, because I want Disney to take chances, man. They need to take chances, because not everything's gonna kind of turn into the same thing. All right, but guys, let's get into the episode. Episode 1: During World War II, Steve Rogers is chosen to become the first super soldier, but is wounded by a Hydra spy before he receives the super serum. SSR agent Peggy Carter kills the spy and receives the serum instead. We start off with you, Chuck. What did you think about this episode?
I liked it. I liked Agent Carter, so seeing it come back as she gets the shield, I expected as much. I expected how it went the way it went. I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I was not really big on the Captain America films, though. I wasn't really big on those films. I think he's a mediocre dude that just got pumped up. So don't get me started on it. So, seeing her be this role, it felt more fitting than for it to be Steve Rogers. So I actually enjoyed it.
Go ahead, guys. Weigh in. What do y'all thought? Because I agree with Chuck. I'm not a big Steve Rogers Captain America fan. And, like I said, he's kind of the mediocre guy that got the super weapon. It was like, why him? I mean, he lived up to expectations, I guess,
I mean, how can you not?
Because he's the best of all of us.
I mean, he could have went back and saved Martin Luther King.
It was
he could have saved Martin Luther King and went back in time and saved like Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, but he went and met up with his girlfriend.
We can't even do that, right? I can't even get into that. We don't know. Maybe I can't.
Nah, he didn't do it.
I can't even get into it. Maybe he created his own branch. Maybe his branch is racism free. I don't know. But anyways, I thoroughly, like Chuck, I thoroughly loved Agent Carter, the TV series. I thought it was ahead of its time. It just didn't get the fan base, the fan love that it should have gotten. So this for me was incredibly satisfying. I thought she was wonderful. I thought Haley Atwell did a wonderful job as Captain Carter. I did have a problem with her not being Captain Britain, given the fact that she's literally got the Union Jack on her chest. That bothered me just a little bit. And I don't know if there's any credence to the fact that they're trying to get Henry Cavill to potentially be Captain Britain. I don't know, but I mean, I loved it. I loved the episode. I thought she was wonderful. I had one caveat, and then I'm gonna pass it on to my friend Syntell. I was really hoping that they were going to, if she's Captain Carter, that they were gonna make Steve the Winter Soldier. I really wanted that to happen. I really wanted him to get killed, especially when he vanished. I was really hoping that he would go along those routes. So I still holding out hope because we haven't seen him in the Hydra Buster.
I was about to say, I think you're gonna get your wish. I think you're gonna get your wish.
When he's in there, I think he might be the Super Soldier, the Winter one.
He's gonna be Winter Soldier. I'd bet anything on it. That's exactly. It's the only thing that makes sense. Because you're building up all this hope. He has to be the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I also didn't love the first Avenger. It had to grow on me after like 12 films, and then I found the appreciation for it.
I liked the first episode, although the internet kind of drug it. But I liked it because I liked the fight scenes. Yo, Peggy had hands.
She did have hands.
Yeah.
Hands, and she was giving people the work. Like that scene where first off she sniped somebody from like a quarter mile away. I was like, damn, she got eyes too. Jumps off, shoulder blocks a damn personnel carrier. Like knees people off the motorcycle, gets the big dude, gives him hands. Then the scene when she's jumping out the airplane, jumping out like literally ripping people out of the cockpit, jumping from plane to plane, and then hopping on Steve's back as they rocket off on some Rocketeer shit. I was like, damn, Peggy kind of gangster. And I liked it so much that I thought that was going to be the tone for everything else. And that style of action didn't maintain. So it was a little disappointing that I got teased with that. I'm like, damn, what if I become with it on the action? And it did something different. But I liked that episode.
And kind of Corny, when you said you were surprised, I don't know who Captain Britain is, but I was surprised that they even made, I mean, because Peggy's not an American, so you take Captain America away on a Disney product. I was like, they went farther than I actually thought they would have to not make it like the name Captain America out there. I thought that was very interesting.
It was also kind of rude too. Like either, I guess because number one, she's British.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they weren't never going to be like Captain Britain.
They could have made her American. I mean, it's a whole new universe. She didn't have to be British. I mean, if you're gonna do it, then do it. You know what I'm saying?
In the comic book, she's Captain Britain, I think.
No, she's not.
She's not.
No, she's not in the comic. Captain Britain's
Disney's not gonna put out. They're not gonna replace Captain America.
Captain Britain's a real thing. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's a brand new universe. You're creating it, so make her American. I think it was a missed opportunity because
what they call her Captain? What was she, Captain?
It didn't make sense that you got a Brit working with them anyway in
Captain
the
Marvel?
bunker of the America.
The most top secret thing in America, and she's there. I was like,
it didn't make any sense. Like, could she just not do an American accent? I'm sorry.
All right, let's jump into episode 2. In 1988,
Captain America.
The Ravengers are sent to Earth by a celestial called Ego to retrieve the son of Peter Quill, but mistakenly abduct a young T'Challa. This one was very emotional for me. I don't know about the quality of it, but it was just, I don't know, hearing Chadwick playing T'Challa again, because I didn't think I was ever going to see that or hear that again. And it just struck a chord with me. Yeah. And I just love this episode from beginning to end. Well, what say you, Cortney?
Oh, yeah, start with me. I, like you, the nostalgia of it, I just wanted him to talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, it was so heartfelt and so just charming to be able to hear his voice and the heart that he did bring to the character of Star-Lord. It does showcase what the man, T'Challa, who he is innately, and what he can bring to a team essence and energy. I think it did showcase something different. I didn't love the episode. It wasn't my favorite. I just loved him. I did love that, again, we got Okoye at the end when, you know, he was reconnected with his family. But I just didn't love, it wasn't really, it was weird seeing Thanos hang out with everybody. Yeah, it was okay.
Jump on in here, Syntell. What were your thoughts on episode 2?
Like the both of you, hearing his voice and then just knowing that I thought that was going to be the only episode that we was going to hear his voice, and then we get another gift a little bit later on, but that doesn't connect with this. So I really just tried to soak it in as much as I could and be like, let me just appreciate the performance for what it is. So anytime he was on screen, I was happy. But like Court said, the whole heist thing, the whole Ocean's 11 heist, I was like, man, I would have hoped for something different. And this goes on with my whole thing with What If in general. I respect the choice. It was cool to know that no matter where T'Challa goes, he's going to be a leader and he's going to be that guy and he's going to have influence over his sphere of influence. Everything he comes around, he's going to influence, and I loved that. It was just the heist thing was just kind of, I don't know.
Low budget.
I think Chadwick Boseman is above that, and I think T'Challa as a character is above that. So to have that heist kind of thing and it be kind of, hey, look, we got Thanos over here and you got my man over there making drinks in the back. It's like, it just didn't fit. But I watched it and I appreciated it for what it was.
So what about you, Chuck, man? Are you feeling T'Challa as the Star-Lord?
Yeah, I feel him as a Star-Lord. It lets you know that T'Challa he's very peaceful. I think he played into his character well. Like, he, as Black Panther, he wasn't one seeking violence. When we saw him when he was most violent, it was him trying to seek revenge for his father's death. So this is really interesting to see that he's as somebody that's in the universe now, and he's always seeking peace, that he could have actually sat down and talked to Thanos. Like, that's all it took was somebody to be able to talk to him. Just talk to him. Nobody tried to talk to Thanos at all. Everybody fought Thanos. And he chose peace.
He was sending like mercenaries to destroy the Earth.
Yeah.
He didn't really get a chance.
I mean, when we go like
Loki tried to talk. Thor tried to talk to him.
Yeah, but that's how. But when Star-Lord could have talked
after
to
he
him,
murdered his whole
like Peter Quill could have talked to him, and Peter Quill because he was out in space, Ms. Marvel could have talked to him. There's enough people that probably could have talked to Thanos and talked him out of it. He took the time to change what the Ravagers were. Like, he's the leader who's like, yo, there's a better way. They don't have to delete half the universe's population.
He's still driven by that, though. Thanos is not giving up on the goal.
He talks about it, but he's not trying to do it. He talks about it, and everybody laughs at him about it because he's that guy that had potential to do something, but somebody came along and changed the course of his life. And I think that's what T'Challa was. He's a catalyst. He's always been a catalyst. Even in the Marvel universe, the MCU that we did see, he was a catalyst character. He changed the face of the Marvel universe. His movie was not going to be made, you guys. Fans made that happen for him.
What movie?
Black Panther. Black Panther was not slated. It was not slated for 5 years until fan uproar got so bad they slated it. There was going to be no Black Panther film.
Yeah, I have some issues with the way Thanos is kind of being portrayed, or everything in the MCU, because they're trying to just like lessen the intensity.
No, Thanos was a reasonable person. He wasn't.
I'm talking about Thanos being, I don't know, him just being talked out of it.
Gamora did try to talk to him.
Yes, but Gamora was a tool of his.
What is reasonable that Thanos was going to stop his plan to eliminate him?
We don't know. We don't know. Ain't
no way Thanos was going to be like, well, that was really logical.
Peter Quill didn't have the maturity of T'Challa. Peter Quill, he didn't have.
Captain Marvel did, but then you guys, did they ever run in the same circles or hear
about?
We
don't know. That's the whole thing is, like, you never know what's going to happen till you run into somebody, right? You never know what's going to happen.
Man, come on.
We
never
know what's going to happen.
Thanos was going to be.
We don't know. We don't know.
He was going to stop.
But that's part of What If. Y'all missing the purpose of What If. Is what if somebody could talk to Thanos, talking off the ledge? We act like we haven't seen people talked off the ledge before. We know people we've talked to talked off the ledge.
Who talked Hitler off the ledge?
I said we know people personally.
Like, yeah, give Hitler, give him what he wanted.
Or let's keep it in the MCU.
Randy.
Red Skull. Let's talk Red Skull.
Captain
America couldn't take Red Skull off the map
because Captain America's not the right person. It takes the right person to talk about.
But no, like a beast.
But it takes the right person. You know, it takes the right person. It doesn't mean every person. It takes the right one.
Can I get a drink?
Hey,
that's what it takes.
He's like a defense attorney. He really wouldn't have been a murderer of all these people.
No, it's not.
He
wasn't a murderer.
I kind of got a cosign with Chuck though.
Yeah, it takes the right person.
We're going for
Randy.
I'm not saying I think that's the smart decision for a story. But I think they were trying to portray that T'Challa has the power to change anybody,
change people's minds.
I agree with that. But also, didn't see T'Challa out there trying to roll up and have a
T'Challa wasn't being Peter Quill out here trying to steal everything either.
No, you said that, but you're saying that T'Challa had, if he had tried to talk to him, T'Challa had all the tribes rolled up because as Randy pointed out, all the mercenaries dropped in first. Thanos didn't try to talk. He didn't come and like, hey, I want to sit down and talk to y'all. And then if you don't agree with me,
hey, chat, let us know what y'all think. Y'all think Thanos could have been talked out of trying to take over?
And if you go to the What If episode, he says, I talked to T'Challa, and he told me that wasn't the right thing to do. They had a conversation. They did have a conversation.
Absolutely.
At the very beginning, he's like,
I think Randy's just saying it's just not realistic. I think that's what Randy's saying. It just doesn't feel realistic.
Yeah, and T'Challa don't.
Potentially realistic, but they're out in space hanging out. My point is that Thanos showed up in Wakanda in the movie, ready to ball. He was
that's too late. That's already too late.
So who on Earth was going to?
T'Challa was there at the very beginning. It was young T'Challa. This wasn't grown man T'Challa.
You said T'Challa needed to go into space. And
according to What If, T'Challa went out in space. We're
gonna have to agree to disagree.
T'Challa went out in space.
Let's move forward.
I'm just saying what the script said. The script said it. T'Challa went out in space and talked to him.
No, he did.
He was kidnapped. He didn't go up there willingly.
Yes, he did go up there willingly. He's like, "You want to come?" He was like, "Sure, I can leave here." He was there willingly. He was
lied to.
But he went there willingly,
though. Was destroyed.
That was later. Yes.
That's kidnapping.
That's later. Yondu told him, but that had nothing to do with Thanos.
Anyways, let's move
that had nothing
to
do with
episode.
Thanos. That had nothing to do with Thanos. That had everything to do with Yondu.
I love T'Challa, but man, he was stuck. Okay. All right. So for episode 3, over the course of a week, the director Nick Fury attempts to recruit heroes for the Avengers Initiative, but they are each mysteriously killed. Natasha Romanoff injects Tony Stark with an unexpected fatal injection. Clint Barton accidentally shoots and kills Thor before dying in the SHIELD custody, and Bruce Banner, the Hulk, explodes, and Romanoff is attacked and killed while investigating other murderers. So, Syntell, man, what'd you think about this episode 3?
Trash. This is when I knew What If to me was off the. I was like, this is not what I think.
I didn't care for this episode. It was
this episode is trash to me. I was like, why are you even sending me on this adventure that I don't give a damn about? And hey, Pym, that's the dude. That's the big bad.
That was the problem.
Yeah, because you got a grudge. What?
And he killed some baddies. He killed Tony Stark, Thor, and the Hulk. He was like, "What? Are you serious?"
But he could kill them. Every method he used was legit. He could have really pulled those methods.
Man, it's damn near impossible to pierce the Hulk's skin. Damn near impossible.
Yes. And he knew it was. He just
flies in and just explodes himself.
He should have. Why couldn't he do that to Thanos? Like, why couldn't Ant-Man just do that to Thanos then? When Thanos came to Earth, just shoot him in there and
you gotta think Thanos hasn't came.
That's when I knew it was this episode when I knew the
Thanos hasn't came yet. So Thanos.
I said when he came. I'm talking about when he came. When Ant-Man,
Ant-Man is not Hank Pym.
There.
He wasn't there.
No, Ant-Man wasn't even there.
He was stuck in the quantum world.
Yeah. He was in the quantum world.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it just didn't make any. It just didn't make any. I didn't know what they were
He's not
going
Hank.
for. It just, yeah.
I
To me, it
loved
felt
it.
like a filler episode.
I love this episode. I
And
loved it.
I'm done with my piece on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cortney, we didn't hear from you. What do you think on episode 3 here?
It was forgettable. It didn't. That's really all I can say. I think that it was I think that turning Hank Pym into a villain, like villainizing him for a reason of like my daughter died. I mean, Janet disappeared while on mission. You were on mission with her. That was still part of the series. Hope Van Dyne was on mission. That's literally what your family does. It didn't justify the means. So I was with the episode until the end and the reveal that Hank Pym was the villain. I was like, you gotta be, come on, man. The ending actually ruined it for me because I thought it was super dope that you actually found a way to kill these Avengers. That Thor, I didn't see that one coming. I mean, obviously I knew they were going to try, but I thought he was going to make it to the end. I did like that Black Widow was able to figure out, or at least try, lead Nick Fury down the direction. I thought it was clever that it was her that made it almost to the end. It was like Survivor. It was like watching an episode of fucking animated Survivor. And I just really, it was forgettable.
So this is one of your favorite episodes,
It
Chuck?
is. It's Battle Royale. It was like, who's doing what? Nobody understood who was doing what. And nobody saw who was doing what. And here it is, Hank Pym. Let me tell you something. My niece dies of anything. Their father's going to go crazy and try to kill everybody that caused them to die, even if it was by accident. I can't think of a father that wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I don't know a single father. If a drunk driver in the battle of duty, if a police officer in a car chase hits one of my nieces and kills her by accident, every father I know will go kill that police officer.
But she was on mission. It wasn't that kind of a situation.
Part of her job.
It was her job. She was the cop in your scenario.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't even matter. My niece could be in the military and she died on mission. My brother would go crazy.
I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm not saying he
Yeah.
would, but I can't see him killing people to
if
justify.
If he had the power,
at that.
Innocent people that hadn't done anything yet.
If he had the
they're
power,
on a list.
yes,
Their name is on a
yes.
list.
They
hadn't done anything yet.
See,
Thor
you
legitimately. I mean,
understand
Natasha
too.
Romanoff.
You understand too.
Okay.
Hank went crazy. He was going crazy. He was gone. He went mad.
It was not justifiable. I'm sorry.
Madness.
They hadn't done anything.
Has the madness ever been justified in the history of man?
No, I mean it's not. But in terms of the writing and why you chose
madness
this to be your bad, it didn't
madness,
work. It just didn't work.
And it could be set up for the quantum realm. We have no idea.
You should have made him a crazy person to begin with, not the Hank Pym that we are familiar with.
It's a whole different universe.
Make him a character that's
it's a whole different universe.
That's
the polar opposite has to exist.
My point is that is the exact point that I'm making
to
you, Chuck, is that it is a whole nother universe.
Yes.
And yet you made him the exact same character until he snapped. That's my problem. If you want to make him a crazy person,
was he the exact same character?
Yes.
We don't know what he was really like.
Nick Fury was like Dr. Pym. Like, what do you do? Like, you've worked with us. Like, you understand. He worked with
Doesn't mean he wasn't mad. Doesn't mean he wasn't mad.
No, but that's my point. But that's the point, not the point that you just made. This is
I'm
a
saying,
whole other universe.
He can work with somebody. He could be the mad scientist working
writing.
with somebody.
It's not smart writing.
All right, guys. We're going to move on.
It's not.
After losing his girlfriend, Dr. Christine Palmer, in a car crash, Dr. Stephen Strange travels to Kamar Taija? I don't know. I'm not pronouncing that right. And learns the mystic art. This one was, Dr. Strange to me just turned into full-on Karen and kind of was going to put the universe to get her back. And I'm just like, whoa, he's supposed to be like the rational, intellectual, but he went straight Karen.
Whoa.
Straight Karen. enjoyed it, right? Don't get me wrong.
Dark as
I
hell.
enjoyed it immensely, but I was like, this one should have been called Ken or Karen because he just.
This should have been called Groundhog Day Goes Wrong. This was just dark as hell.
Yeah,
And
man.
I can't say
Definitely
that
dark.
I didn't. I can't say I liked it, and I can't say I didn't like it.
I enjoyed
I
it.
feel like
bro.
it happened to me. I did like the relationship that he had with the black guy, the guy who was the his caretaker in this new world. I did enjoy for the most part. It's hard to say I enjoyed it, but I appreciated it, and it's the way it served in this series. It was a different take on Doctor Strange, and I respected it. It happened to me, but it was dark as hell.
Yeah, but it was dark. It was really dark. Syntell, Chuck, what you?
I'll jump in. I loved it. I thought it was awesome because let's not forget, the Doc was an asshole.
Yeah, he was.
He was arrogant. He was an asshole. He was feeling himself, and it took the accident to break his hands, him losing his hands, to humble him, and he never lost his hands in this. So he doesn't have a reason to change. So if you give somebody like that is an asshole by nature and doesn't have a real reason to change it, you give them power, ultimate power, and the selfishness to only preserve things that affect you and only you, which is his relationship with his lady, then I can see a lot of those choices. I can understand those choices, and him just becoming addicted to even getting those choices and not accepting the fact that he can't control everything. Every single thing point is like, you can't control this. This is a point in time that cannot change whatsoever. And if you do, we lose everything. And he's like, nah, I am who I am, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do because I've always done it this way. And we get to see what the consequences of those actions are. So I thought, to me, it was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, and it was a great tagline. What if Doctor Strange broke his heart instead of his hands? Kind of what you said. Yeah. Because he was never humbled. He was never humbled. So he still got the same ego going in there. He's like, I'm going to make this happen. I can do this. I can do this. And the more power he gets, the more he's going to try. So I thought it was
one of the better
true to the character. Yeah, it was true to the character.
It was one of the best.
Yeah,
I needed that episode too because it brought me back into the fold more because I was almost gone after the previous one. So I needed that episode. I was like, okay, he got my attention again.
so let's talk into the one, I guess. Go ahead.
Chuck didn't give his opinion.
I thought it was okay. I thought this episode was okay. I mean, I probably thought this was primary timeline for Doctor Strange. It's like, oh, this is what I expect Doctor Strange to be like. I didn't expect anything different. I think what we got is alternative, is a variant. I think what we have is a variant timeline from Doctor Strange.
That's actually interesting.
I think this
That's
is the
very
primary
interesting that you
This is
saw
the primary
like that.
timeline. Y'all have to understand, a lot of this stuff is primary or variant timelines. I think a lot of this stuff is primary timeline. We're just what we have as variants.
There is a sorry, I know I'm talking out of context, but there is a fan theory that anytime you see Doctor Strange do his thing, his hands are shaking because they're not fully healed, and his hands are going to always have a slight shake to it. But if you watch any of the No Way Home footage, his hands are never shaking, ever.
And that's what I was about to. That was going to be my next point.
He could be the variant version of that. That's why he would be like, "Sure, Peter, let's go change the timeline," because he's arrogant enough to not care.
Yeah.
Do we think this is the Doctor Strange that's been shown in the trailer for No Way Home?
That's what people are saying.
I think it is.
I definitely, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, that's not something Doctor Strange would ever do. He was so against, like, doing stuff with Dormammu or doing stuff differently or everything. Like, even with Tony, like, there's one way to do it. Like, we can't deviate. If I tell you it won't happen, like, blah, 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 we can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, yeah, Peter, let's do it.
It's like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I think what we got.
Happened? I've been dead for 5 years. Like, I don't give a shit.
What? I think we got a variant.
Good shit. Then that's good. That's good because that's more of what I expected out of this series. That we want to get more variants and and we still can get that how it builds into the larger next phase. But
if it builds into it.
If
it builds into it.
It could. I didn't see
Yeah.
that. I didn't see that. I didn't
Yeah.
see that from what we got. Okay, now we talked the zombie episode. We talked about it a little earlier. Chuck, go ahead. What you said you liked the zombie
I
episode.
do like the zombie episode. I
What's
like
going
anything
on?
that deals with the quantum realm. I find it very interesting that the virus came from the quantum realm. I found that to be very, very interesting, and they brought the zombie apocalypse. I liked what they did to Scarlet Witch in this episode and how she lived. The Bucky story. I thought it was kind of funny. I wish it was dark, especially coming after the Doctor Strange. I was hoping this stuff just goes completely bleak. It just goes off the rails into damn near horrorcore for the next 4 episodes. That's what I wanted.
Horror.
And I was like, here that you got a affected Wanda Maximoff, and you didn't really use her. I want to see that person. That's what I really want to see. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it got a little campy, but I thought it was pretty good overall. I found it.
Aren't all zombie things campy though? Like everything with zombies is campy, isn't it?
Not always.
Not the
the old 70s zombies movies weren't too campy.
Yeah.
They didn't get campy until like the late 80s.
Yeah.
But
the Night King in Game of Thrones, he was a zombie. Let's be honest. That dude was a zombie. He was bad as hell. No, he wasn't campy. He was coming to claim a throne.
Well, there's always been like this big forgive me if I'm out of turn.
No, go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Speak your mind.
There's always this big distinction between like what's the difference between DC properties and Marvel properties? And the two big ones is the big one is DC is here for grown adult fans. There are fans of the original content, and we're going to give you exactly what you want on the level that we know you want it on. So a lot of it's dark. I mean, they changed the whole lineup to DC dark for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And Marvel is trying to make sure everybody is happy, right?
Yep.
This was the perfect time for Marvel to step outside of its comfort zone and give us something a little bit darker, give us something a little that make you flinch a little bit, like they did a really good job with the Doctor Strange episode. I thought that was a real big flex for them, but they could have kept the ball rolling to show just how far they could take it. Like you said with the Scarlet Witch, she could be the perfect villain in this. I mean, the stuff that she could do with alternate reality, plus dealing with zombies, and then they just went a different direction. And I'm not saying the direction wasn't quality for the genre that it's in and that it forced itself in. I just wanted a different direction.
Okay.
She also got the dark side of Vision too, because the fact that Vision was bringing her people to feed on, you know what I mean? Like in order to save her, it was. I thought it was different. I do understand that people didn't like the comedic, like the comedy. I just thought like Okoye saying like that was your friend. I'm sorry. I should apologize. That was funny. I'm sorry. Like it was hilarious. And then Sharon Carter, like I just walked through somebody. Like she's walked through something. I'm just covered in whoever that. It was just there were certain lines that it's just like I don't know. Maybe it's because I could see myself saying those lines if I was in that battle.
I don't know. This episode just did nothing for me. All right, let's go on to episode 6. In Afghanistan, Tony Stark is ambushed by the 10 Rings, but saved by Eric Killmonger Stevens. I have to say, Killmonger's one of my favorite heroes in the MCU, and
say it louder. Say that again, louder.
Hero, and I chose the word hero specifically. He's one of my favorite heroes in the MCU, and I just loved it. Right, I love seeing him save Tony and go into Wakanda and have this elaborate plan. I thought it was dope, man. This is what if that I really enjoyed, and I would love to be in this universe. What's going on with you, Trey, man? How you feeling about this episode?
You know what I say? What they're saying? Don't give me the gun. You already know what I'm gonna do with it. Hey, I am a Killmonger fan through and through. I feel him. You know what is it? What's that old saying? Like if you kick somebody out of the tribe, they will burn the tribe down just to feel its warmth.
For the warmth.
Yep. Yeah. That is Killmonger. And yes, he has a interesting way of going about finding justice by any means necessary. But hey, the whole time I don't give a damn about Tony Stark. Let him have it. Yes, take it all. Take all the stuff.
best line when Tony was like, we're both like
Listen.
orphans. He was like, the fact that you don't understand why we're different is the reason we're different.
Yes.
And then he exposed an uncomfortable truth about Tony that Disney has been scared to touch, terrified to tackle. And that is the fact that Tony Stark is an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
He's an alcoholic through and through. You read the comics, that is his biggest demon, period.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney sugarcoated that and tried to miss it in every opportunity, but they didn't in this episode. Every time you see him, even when he dies with a glass of liquor falling down and crashing beside him. He had a drink in his hand. He fell. He succumbed to his baser needs of being an alcoholic. And Killmonger is a master tacticianist, master class, and he took advantage of it and used it in order to justify the means of his ends of taking over Wakanda. Of course, we're all gonna feel some kind of way about Wakanda being taken over, but he flexed in a way that was like, ooh, you are good at this.
What about you, Courtney? Weigh in. What do you think about this episode?
I want to hear what Chuck has to say first.
I love this episode. This is the episode I compare it to the T'Challa one. It shows what happens when they don't use brute force to win. I think this is Eric Killmonger showing what he does best. He strategizes. He plans things. He's thoughtful. I think it's kind of messed up when they're like, oh, he erased the tapes that he even known that Tony had the whole entire house wired with Jarvis. He would have took that over and cleared all that up. I was like, oh, they had to put that in there in order for him to get caught doing something. I was like, that's some bullshit, because he already saw all that going into the house. He knew what he was dealing with. He knew who he was dealing with. He knew what he was dealing with. He would have planned all this out. He's always 10 to 20 steps ahead of everything. He knows this. This is part of it. So I thought how they exposed him was kind of wrong. I was like, oh, they had found something else. He would have slipped some other way, but not that way. You know, like they would have went in there and Jarvis might have found like a last handprint of his walking out of the space or something. I don't know.
They should have made it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. I saw him on tape, and this is what happened. Like, come on, really?
Even if Suri identified it, right? Because we know Suri's a genius. She's
yeah.
They should have.
She was 9.
Yeah,
she was
for me.
super young.
Yeah,
that was a problem for me.
Super
they should have made it more difficult.
They would have made it difficult. Yeah, and I think they would have never called him. I don't think they would have never realized. He would have realized what everybody was in here on for it. So I thought this in the T'Challa episodes was like, oh, they're two men cut from the same cloth.
Hey, I love both of them. I did.
You know.
I don't know. For me, it was interesting. I thought it was very clever, the idea of what if Killmonger saved Tony Stark. I did really enjoy that aspect of it, and I totally agree that this is what he does. Like, he's a strategist. He kind of maneuvers his way into places, just like the spy that he was, and unravels things. Like, he just pulls them apart. He finds the thread and then pulls it apart. What was missing for me in this episode, as opposed to in Black Panther, was the mission, which was his passion. The underlying passion was that he was angry at Wakanda for not rising up on behalf of all Blacks, that they had so much in Wakanda and yet they didn't give to the other areas in order to, like, kind of like he robbed the rich, like Robin Hood, robbed the rich to feed the poor. That was the beauty of the anti-hero that Killmonger was, and why I rooted for him. It was hard for me to root for T'Challa because Killmonger's argument was so good. It was so rich and deep, and this focused on the baser elements of a classic villain. He was a classic villain through this, and I respected it, but it missed the mark on the passion and the joy, not necessarily the joy, but the fire, and that he was justifiable in his argument. in Black Panther. And this was just basic villain. And I thought it, other than that one line, Randy, which was absolutely true, that one line was flawless. It was the only thing that kind of gave me a glimpse of the version of Killmonger that we got in our Prime universe, but I missed that passion. I did love Rwanda. I did love Rwanda. Seeing Queen Rwanda roll with the Dora Milaje.
Yo, that was dope though.
I was like, I need Angela Bassett to get in training right now because she freaking slayed.
I can't remember the last time I've seen something like that.
Me neither.
Like a queen stand up and be on the front line. I don't think I've seen this before.
Ever. That was the best part of that whole episode for me. That was the best part. I was like, if y'all don't find a way to make this happen in real life now that T'Challa is gone, I don't even know what I'll do with myself, because now you've given me this image and I can't live without it. You know?
No, I was gonna say the only thing I would say is you're absolutely right in your analysis, but I think for me, I took what I already knew about Killmonger, and I just transferred it over to this episode.
Right,
me too.
But I look at what was given.
My name is Trey Murphy, and I did the exact
right. So what you're saying is right. It didn't do a good job of framing him the same way that the movie did, but I took everything that I already knew, and I was like, this is just another example of what this character would have done. So I appreciate that analysis.
But they, in the same way of what you're just saying, they did take Peggy Carter that we knew from that first Avenger, who was more dope than Steve Rogers would ever be in the fucking first movie. And they brought that essence and they put it into their version of Captain Carter. And I'm just saying, I needed that same care taken so that I could roll with him. I just, based on what you gave me, I was looking at what you gave me. And the fact that what I knew of Killmonger, I was missing it. I was missing that from this.
I made all the connections. I was like, this is the same dude, it's a different universe.
Hey, and I'm with you. I fell victim to it as well. I fell, and it's a trap. It's a trap.
Right, it is.
And I fell in it, and I'm still sitting in the trap just as content.
Yep, he's still a hero. He's still a hero in the MCU to me.
You ain't gonna talk bad about Killmonger.
I think
Killmonger's my dude.
I think the essence.
You're right, Courtney. You're right. You're right.
Go ahead, Chuck.
I think the essence of all the characters are still there in all their variants, but it's just split-second decisions that change them. Like him actually being the one to meet Tony, you know, and he realized Tony was a weak dude, and it was all set up for him anyway. He's a weak dude.
Tony does have big flaws.
Yeah, he's a weak dude. He's a weak dude.
Yeah.
And money technology saves.
The whole character.
I'm
gonna tell y'all.
Yo, he was hot in the dress white, even for an animated cartoon.
For me, even like Iron Man, I think a lot of the likability of the Tony Stark character is a tribute to the acting prowess of Robert Downey Jr. I think in another actor's hands, that character can be really annoying really quickly, and you're like, man, he got a lot of flaws. But like Robert Downey Jr. is so charming and witty and everything, like you're willing to forgive a lot of what Tony Stark does.
Yo, he overplays he plays the Playboy billionaire part so well.
Right.
So
well.
Right.
But the damaged part of him we never got a chance to see.
And we've never gotten somebody to play Bruce Wayne as well as Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark.
We've never gotten that. We've never found any of the other than Wonder Woman, and I was totally anti Gal Gadot playing that character. But she does a good job as Wonder Woman and Diana Prince. She's the only one that I feel like that they have cast really elegantly and reasonably well. But Robert Downey Jr. has battled those demons, and I can't say this, but I have a feeling that a lot of the lack of alcoholism and drug adult character has largely in part to do with he probably doesn't want to play that aspect of it because that was too close to home.
He's recovering.
Yeah.
He's recovering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's gonna always be recovering.
Yes,
He's a
he
kid
is.
in Hollywood, and everything is easy access to him. Like it's got to be kind of hard, right? I mean, it's harder problems in life, right? But to have that kind of access to everything that is excess, and to always turn it down your
Well,
whole
I mean,
life.
he beat it. You know what I mean?
He ain't beat it. He's beat it.
Well, listen, in terms of like his career,
Yeah.
he was on the downslope.
Oh, absolutely.
He had an Academy Award nomination for Chaplin and then vanished.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he literally had to go through several auditions for Disney or Marvel to even contemplate casting him because they were hesitant.
Oh, they didn't want him. They weren't hesitant. They were like, no,
Yeah.
this was
But
John
can you blame
Favreau.
him? He's
Yeah.
an absolute time bomb.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
John Favreau
Favreau
fought for him. Yeah,
Favreau
he owes
fought
John
for him.
Favreau, boy, a
Everything.
lot. Yeah.
Because he revitalized his career. He turned it around. I mean, Downey Jr. was like, RDJ was like, he was down. He was real down. His stock was like negative. You know what I'm saying? It was the crash of 29. But like, you know, like, so I don't, as I said, I don't know that that's 100% certain, but what he has accomplished in revitalizing and totally revamping his entire life, not just for his career, but for his soul, for his happiness, you know, you have to admire that. And I think that he does just enough in terms of like family friendly Disney, you know, our Iron Man. He talks about it, he jokes about it, and we get to see flashbacks of this version of the partier. But you know, I personally didn't necessarily need more. But in this episode, I agree that it was interesting and wonderful to see that version of Tony Stark that we see in the comics.
All right, so let's move on to episode 7 real quick. This is the Thor episode. Courtney, I know you said you didn't like it, but I was all for this one. I love Party Thor. It had no consequence in this episode. It was. I love Loki and Thor being friends. I love the aspect of the mom. I love Odin being out the way. Like he was aimless and just having fun. Like if you're a Norse god, like I think that's how you should be. That's who I want to be if I'm a Norse god. So I'm gonna let you guys go in, but I loved it. I was all for it.
I didn't like them having to call his mom. Like
thought it was brilliant.
I mean, it was listen, it was a choice. It was a choice, but you trying to also get a girl, and the girl has to go that you just met has to go and get your mom to come and get you to act right. I'm sorry. I the only part I loved about this was Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston and their relationship and the dichotomy of like what would happen if Loki had become a frost giant and that they were still friendly-ish. They were still frenemies. I always loved that dynamic. I think that the casting of these two actors is perfect, and it was perfect in the cartoon. I just could have done without it.
I don't think they were friends. I thought they were best friends. Like, yo, bro, your mom's coming.
Your
mom's coming. I love you, bro, but you out here on your own on this one.
Yeah, they were best friends.
When he tried to ask them to clean up, and
he was like,
clean up, nah, man.
We all the way confused.
When Jane calls and she's like, and he's like, "Hey, you got a friend?" You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I love this episode.
It reminded me if Marvel did a rendition of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's how it felt to me. Especially at the very end when he's trying to clean everything up before Mom shows up and everything.
I thought it was House Party. I was thinking House Party. But he parties so hard he destroys planets. That's how hard he parties. He destroys planets. And he's notoriously known to do it. Like, I throw a party, I break the whole thing.
Throw that off too. That was like he destroyed a planet.
It's planets. This is not the first time he's done this a lot.
And he's like, I'm going to go to the one place Mom would never expect me. Middle Earth, like Midgard or whatever they call it, right? So he just shows up, man. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. All right, we ain't going to talk about it too much because this is just party episodes. So episode 8 is when things get turned up. Ultron, having taken the Mind Stone of Vision's vibranium body, has defeated the Avengers and launches a global nuclear holocaust, killing most of humanity. This might have been my favorite episode. I thought it was seeing Ultron. I was like, really, what if Ultron won? And then this is kind of the first time we really get to see the Watcher worried.
Yeah.
So what say you guys? And ladies.
I'm gonna say I just one thing. Yo, the Watcher got hands. I like folks that got hands. Like folks that can like really and I did not see that coming.
Me neither.
I know there's a battle version of the Watcher, but it doesn't translate in comics, right? You know, but to see it in action, and I was like, yo, he's really doing this thing. Like the full blunt of the stones was coming at him, shrugged it off, and then armored up, and you know, he did his thing. So that by itself was enough to make it type of episode for me.
I wish they had gotten Jeffrey Spader, or not Jeffrey. What's his name?
Jeffrey Wright. You talking about the?
No, that's why I'm getting him confused. James Spader. Thank you. Okay. James Spader to be Ultron. Jeffrey Wright was phenomenal. He's phenomenal as the Watcher. I mean, I love that they even kind of made him look a little bit like his character from friggin' Westworld. He kind of looked a little bit like the dude from the version that he plays in Westworld. So I agree. Like, I love that they battled. I thought it was interesting that Ultron just slayed Thanos with the damn Mind Stone. He just split that bastard in half. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. We could have just done that. We could have just...
It was a little problematic, though. Didn't you think so? A little bit? I was like, that was...
Let's be honest.
Not really, because the Mind Stone powered Wanda Maximoff. That gave her power. And she was the one who was only... able to like really take down Thanos. She did better against Thanos than freaking Captain Marvel, and she's supposed to be the most powerful. But girl, like Vision has the actual stone in his head. You would think so. You would think that he should be able to slay Thanos. And the fact seeing it that way, I was like, dag nabbit, why was Vision up there trying to get the stone removed? He should have just went to war.
Yeah, they keep making Thanos weaker. Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's a number of ways they could have took out Thanos in the movies, and
Thor could have went for the head
to begin with. I mean, Doctor Strange
could have put him in the conference room to T'Challa, and you know.
Or better yet, no, that's too late. It's too late then. It's already too late then by Randy. It's already too late. Right. Has to be 11-year-old T'Challa. Has to be 11-year-old. Nah, but I mean, they could have had Doctor Strange sling ringing and cut off his arm. He could cut off his arm. Just sling ring the arm. Just cut it off. Chop it off. Boom. Drop it into another universe. Only the only one Doctor Strange is the only person that can go to it. Then they could have killed him.
Strange wasn't there. Strange was on floating around in the universe because he was too dumb to like listen to Tony when he was like, we need to get rid of the time stone. They rolling around in the daggone ether somewhere. But that's a great plan. I like your plan. That would have worked.
That would have worked. That's simple.
When I was watching this, this is the only thing I'm gonna bring up, and we can move on. Once he learns to start devouring planets and universes and stuff, you know, I was like, why didn't they make this Galactus?
Well, they kind of hinted at it, right?
They did. It was an image quickly, but I was like, it would have been a great way for them to make Galactus, and we get then the larger part of the MCU. We get the Fantastic Four, we get the Silver Surfer.
We don't know what's happening in the future.
Yeah,
you know.
So,
Marvel still has to talk to Fox. Fox has to talk to Marvel.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so let's push it to the end. The last episode. I felt the last episode felt rushed, and I was just like, this was an interesting way to end it. It seemed like I don't know, these characters coming together as a team and everything, it felt a little rushed to me. And so to me, it impacted the overall quality of the series because it didn't stick the landing. As we discussed ad nauseum, I've enjoyed most of the episodes, but this one, it was big and it didn't finish strongly the way I would have liked to have seen.
I feel like if they cut Gamora's episode with Tony Stark, then they should have cut her from the final episode because I didn't understand why she was there. I had no because now
because the Watcher chose her.
This about. I understand that part. I understand you're telling me, as the filmmaker told me, that the Watcher has chosen her. She did something. We don't know what she did, but the Watcher chose her, so here she is. Great, got it. I intellectually understand that, but since now you've made it about connecting and building your own Avengers team, why is she there? Because you've not shown me, you've shown me all the other universes that you've watched, and we know why these other people are here. We just don't know why she's there. I just think as an animator, they should just took her out. If you're not going to give us the episode, then just take her out. But other than that, I thought it was interesting. The Peggy Carter Black Widow friendship. It was interesting. I didn't necessarily need it, but I kind of liked it. I liked that the Black Widow from the Ultron timeline came back. I forgot about the whole Zola element that, she and Clint were the last ones left. Oh, I forgot to talk about that aspect. Did we talk about that episode? That episode where they went to go and get Zola. Oh yeah, that was the one right before it. Yeah. Where they went to go and get Zola, and they were trying to infect Ultron. I thought it was a beautiful shift in giving the audience kind of what everybody wanted. It's like, why didn't Hawkeye die? Why did we lose Black Widow? He was forgettable. I did appreciate the fact that he made that sacrifice instead of her in the exact same way. I thought it was a beautiful shot, the way that they showed him like diving down to fight the Ultron men. I thought that was a fantastic visual. And I like that they brought her back in the finale. I know y'all didn't really like that, you dropped a Black Widow into another universe, that it was very tidy, and I agree, it was super tidy. But the little Marvel girl fan in me was very happy that we got a Widow back.
Well, we think we did.
I want to co-sign on that a little bit because, well, maybe not co-sign, maybe disagree with you a little bit.
Okay.
I liked the Natasha Romanoff and Peggy Carter collabo. I would go so far as to say I liked it enough that I would like to see it again. Maybe in some other. I could see that almost as a series within itself, like them two, because they both put in work. They're both highly intelligent, and they're just a joy to watch.
And it was more fun, that banter that they had in the Winter Soldier between Natasha and Steve Rogers, that, he was not feeling the whole girl talk conversation. Like, she was trying to connect him. Listen, I told you I was here for it. Did I necessarily need it? No, but I was there for it. I loved it.
And it was kind of funny when they were trying to pawn off different dudes on each other. I thought that was kind of funny too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's anything out of all of that, I want that. I wouldn't mind seeing a spinoff with the two of them come together, because I want to say that Agent Carter called Natasha, said that she was her best friend.
Yeah, because in their universe, they're best friends. Yeah. So the Romanoff and Carter's universe is her best friend.
Their chemistry was great. That was
a really good match.
So
that was
good.
The best thing about the episode, I thought.
It really was. I was there for it. Like I said, yeah.
Okay.
But the rush part, Randy, I think you're spot on. It felt all the way rushed. And I felt completely unsatisfied when it was done. I was like, all right.
I know what they sealed.
It ended the way my vote it showed. Middle of the road.
Yeah. You put Zola and Killmonger in the Pocket universe. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Ultron, it's Zola.
And then they're like, you foresaw all of these things that were going to happen, didn't you? I was like, oh my God. You just had to find a way to wrap it all up. Ugh.
I thought it was disgusting. I was like, come on.
It was like they were really trying to force that round peg.
They really did.
Yeah, that part I totally agree. I was like,
you didn't need it, I didn't think.
Because they didn't even utilize Killmonger during the whole fight. I kept thinking, like, where is he? Like, why would you bring him here? And you really brought him here to set him up and use him to distract Zola because you knew that was coming. So that was really kind of like, ew.
Whack.
Sonny
again said it right. Rogers was ice, but we never knew how Carter lived so long for Black Widow to join her as her friend.
Well, I just assumed the super soldier serum.
Well, we did know.
Slows your ages down, right?
No. She went through the portal with the.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the first episode, with the tentacle monster.
Yeah. With the Hydra, she went through the portal and then she was dropped back into present day, the same place that Steve Rogers woke up.
Yeah.
So we do know.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so that wraps up our episode guide of What If. What we're going to do now is we're going to rate it again. So we started with Syntell last time. We'll start with you, Cortney. How are you going to rate What If?
I'm going to stay. Randy. I'm going to stay.
Okay.
Hold strong, just like I'm in a game show.
All right, then we're gonna go. Chuck, how you gonna rate it now?
I'm keeping it a mini meal. I mean, the ending just was off for me. I liked the episodes. I didn't like. I wanted an anthology series. I just wanted an anthology series, and they tried to give me a story, and I was like, I didn't need that.
Okay. All right.
I needed
Syntell, bro.
variant
Go ahead.
timelines, and that's all I wanted. I didn't need them to all come together, and then they form some happy ending.
I do agree with that. Syntell, man, how you gonna rate it?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was coming into this hoping that you all would change my mind and show me something different enough to kind of like boost me up, but it just wasn't enough. It's the same. Yeah, it's still a
So me and Cortney didn't have any influence on them. They just like, nah.
It wasn't enough. No, I mean,
No,
it was some
I mean,
good
I
points.
couldn't. I
Mhm.
wasn't even
Just wasn't
trying.
enough.
Like, yeah, I mean, a lot of my high points were for like comedy value, nostalgia, and anytime I get to see a girl friendship, and I got a widow back. So like, you know what I mean? Like, I agree with a lot of your points. Just like you said, Syntell. We're on the same bandwagon. I'm just cheerleading a little bit harder than you are.
Go ahead, finish your
I got
points,
pom-poms,
Syntell.
and you just sitting here. I'm still at the game. I hadn't left yet. I'm still here, but I can't pom pom. I can't cheer. I can't rah rah that.
Yeah, I was hoping that if there's any series that you could take a risk on, a safe risk, it's this.
Mm-hmm.
This was the space if you was gonna take a chance. So I was just disappointed in that. But it's not to say that I'm not gonna watch the second one. I will watch the second one because I'm just a fan of Marvel.
Are we supposed
properties.
to have a second one?
Maybe.
Yeah, allegedly there's a second season coming, allegedly. So and I'll be there for it. And
Marvel just delayed everything.
They did. They just delayed everything.
They delayed a couple movies.
No, everything.
All of them.
Everything.
They
All
delayed
of
like
them.
Okay.
they delayed like
Delayed
8
stuff.
projects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
including No Way Home.
Yeah. I'm
no,
with
Doctor
Cortney. I'm gonna
Strange.
stay at mine. I'm gonna stay at my
Exactly.
my full meal. I enjoyed the series. Like I said, I don't think they stuck the ending, but I'm hearing from you guys, not sticking the ending is big. So not sticking the ending is big for.
You gotta stick the landing.
Yeah, you gotta stick the landing. So it's not when it's not happened. I've noticed you guys have punished the series with the rating. But
Well, it's like sex. Like you can have a decent fun time on the way there, but you want that ending.
yeah, you want the ending.
Tell me, everybody in the room, everybody in the world wants that ending. And you don't get that ending, you're like,
What was the point? What was the point?
what was the point?
You enjoy your property and be like, well, the ending wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
not applicable to sex.
It
It's
could have
gotta-
been
I
better.
gotta finish. Gotta finish.
It could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been better. So I'm gonna hear at my rating of a 4 meal, and so that gave us a 3.5. I mean, if we round up, we go old school rounding up. That'll round us up to
Full meal.
full meal.
Okay.
That-
Okay.
man.
All right. So Chuck, you got anything to say, man, before we head out?
Oh no. I hope they have season 2 is better than season 1. I hope we get more Killmonger and get him out of a pocket universe.
Yeah, I do too.
That ain't happening.
What about you,
Killmonger's
Courtney? Got anything to say
Killmonger's too
before we head out?
Good luck and good night.
All right. Syntell, bro, you got anything to say before we head out?
Yeah, something really quick. I think, and what Chuck brought to my attention, one of the reasons why many of these Marvel delays could possibly be a result of the IATSE strike. And I just want to say, treat your people good, and then you won't run into these type of problems. So support proper wages and support proper safety, and everybody just
Take care of your workers.
Yeah, take care of your workers, and don't
Because
worry, the
you wouldn't have a
content will
film.
come. Yeah, exactly what Course said.
You wouldn't have a
none
film
of this
without them.
happens.
Everybody has a part to play. Everybody is a part of the machine that's rolling. And just because you have certain stars and celebrities that fans pay tickets for, they couldn't pay those tickets if we didn't have the crew that was slaving away to help bring this amazing property to the people. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
Everything Courtney just said, I co-sign on everything she said. She said it well.
Hey, we co-sign
That's
with
my
always
closeout.
supporting everybody that's involved
Yeah.
and other people out there. They
Yeah.
don't always get the recognition.
Yes. And delays are a good thing, not a bad thing usually.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
de- delay and make it
instant
better.
gratification isn't always good.
All right, cool. All right, everybody, that concludes our show. Thank you for tuning in. Chat, hey, we appreciate you participate, man. Always feel free to let us know your thoughts. We love knowing that you're out there listening, and we love that you are a part of the conversation. Shouts out to Digital Click. If you look at our background and everything like that, that's all them. They do all of our creating. And if you're interested in marketing for your small business or large business or medium-sized business, consider giving them a shout out. www.digitalclick.com. Please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link your account and subscribe to us using your Prime Gaming. Won't cost you a single red cent. That shit means the world to us. Tomorrow on deck, we've got Origins Illustrated. That is our show from a female perspective where they touch on all things comic book, sci-fi, and geek. Our lovely host, the dynamic diva, Miss Cortney Wright, is one of the co-hosts on that show. So if you love listening to her here, tune in tomorrow, and you can get more of these astute and in-depth analysis. And also we got Geek Beast. That's Syntell and Chuck, and you know how they get down, man. Every day bringing you the latest and greatest in news out there. So next week we are doing Ted Lasso, season 1 of Ted Lasso.
Ooh, tons of feel good, baby.
Yeah, feel so. Ted Lasso. We're going to do season 1 week, season 1, and the following week we're going to do season 2, so we can complete our full analysis of Ted Lasso. So if you loved what you heard right here, we're going to go in there and break it down the same old way. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys, I look forward to every Wednesday night to coming on here, talking with my brothers and sisters, having fun, sharing our opinions, our arguments, our fights, our agreements. It's wonderful, man. Thank you all for tuning in. So with that being said, good night and have a great one. Tune back in next Wednesday. Same back time, same back channel. Peace.